Welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast with Joshua Latimer, where we discuss business, life, family, faith, struggle, fire, pain, and ultimately winning.
It's time to take massive action. Look, I can't work harder on your life or business than you do. It's ultimately all on you.
You know, God created all the food the birds would ever need, but he doesn't put it in their nest. You've got to go get it.
10 out of 10 people die. So how about doing something today that actually matters while you still can? Welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast. My name is Josh, and my job is very simple. It's to take valuable nuggets from my brain and from the internet and from the people I network with and learn from, and to place them directly into your brain so you can make money, build a better company, live the life of your dreams. And I'm not being cheesy. Like, that's really actually a thing. And if you don't think it is a thing, we need to work on your belief patterns, my friend. Today, I want to talk about Myron Golden. Now, I don't know Myron. I'm excited to meet him. He's part of the inner circle that I joined, but I watched some of his videos inside of our private Facebook group, and I was blown away by this guy. Okay, this guy's a killer, man. First of all, he's a believer, which I love. I always connect with, entrepreneurs who are Christians. I think that's amazing. But he's also aggressive, and he teaches about financial education. He sells, massive amounts of financial education products, and he travels all around. And he made this video, and I want to share some of the tips that he said. Now, he was talking about something that is so going to blow your mind. I promise. You got to hang in there. There's 4 levels of making money, right? I forget the exact nomenclature and verbiage that he used, but there's 4 different levels to earning money. And the highest level will be the last one I share, and I'm going to start with the lowest level. Now, this is I didn't invent this like Myron did, so props to him. Go on Facebook, search for Myron Golden. The guy's amazing, right? Or Google him. He has some books and a bunch of cool stuff. But the lowest level of making money, according to Myron, is what he calls implementation. And this is so awesome. Now, implementation, there's only one thing you can use to earn dollars. And that one thing, the resource you have available to you to make money if you're an implementer, is your muscles. That's it, right? So think of someone who flips burgers or cleans carpets or is a mechanic or whatever, right? There's nothing wrong with being an implementer, but it's the lowest level of earning as far as income goes in the world, right? And people that work with their muscles, they have a window of income, and Myron says, between $0 and $80,000 a year. Just for example, if you work for minimum wage, you'll make 15, 20 grand a year. That's cool. Or if you're a specialized mechanic, maybe you'll make 80 grand or 90 or 100 grand. But there's a ceiling on it, right? And you can't make more money by working harder inside of the thing. I guess you could work more hours, but you can't make more money per hour, right? You can't. There's a limit to it. So remember, the lowest level is implementation, and the only resource you have are your muscles. And then the next level, a level up from that, is called unification. And this is amazing because this has to do with management. It has to do with people that manage the implementers. Maybe they used to be an implementer. They went and they got their, bachelor's in business, and they got promoted in their corporate job. Now they run a small team of 10 people, right? So maybe it's the guy who runs the team of 10 mechanics for Volvo, or it's the manager at Taco Bell. They make $40,000 a year up to $250,000. Because if you're a manager at Lockheed Martin, like Myron said, or a large Fortune 500 company, and you have a team of people, you can make 6 figures for sure if you have a good skill set, and you can manage and be organized and keep your team moving along, and all these implementers are underneath the view, right? Maybe you're a project manager over developers, or you're whatever, right? That makes sense, right? That's the next level of wealth building, or potential wealth building or wealth creation, is being a unifier. And here's where it gets really good. The third level is communication. And what's really interesting that Myron was talking about with this was that communicators are some of the highest paid people in the world, right? And it doesn't seem fair. He was talking about that, and I agree. At surface value, you're well, wait a second. People that just are good communicators make more money than the person hammering the nail and lifting the heavy thing and fixing the broken car. Everyone's screwed if their car isn't fixed, but at the same time, the people fixing the car have serious limitations on their ability to achieve the life that they probably want. That's really weird, right? And so there's a resource attached with each of these levels. If you remember, the implementation level, the lowest level, the only resource you have to make money is your muscles, right? For the unification people, they have their management skills. But for communicators, the resource that they have is their mouth. Isn't that weird? You can make so much money. So like Myron is talking how good communicators can make anywhere from, $100,000 a year. Maybe you're a car salesman, but you're really, really good with your words. You're a good communicator, up to $100 million a year. You look at someone like Jim Carrey or some famous A-list actor who gets $20 million per movie they do, and they can do several in a year, right? These people make massive amounts of money. And the reason isn't because they can communicate ideas from their head to someone else's head, right? I think in the unification level, like a manager, they can communicate ideas from their head to someone else's head. They could be a technical teacher, for example, or something like that. But what he's talking about for this third highest level is when you can communicate from your heart to someone else's heart. Isn't that interesting? Like if you can develop a skill to make other people feel something, that will directly affect the amount of money that your business makes, that you make. Isn't that amazing? I mean, maybe I'm like blowing this out of proportion. I'd love for you to comment on this after we finish up and let me know, or like hit me up on Facebook, because to me, this is a huge thing. And so the third highest level is communication. It's when you can communicate, make people feel things from your heart to their heart. You can make 100,000 up to 100 million. It's unbelievable. It just depends on your skill set. It doesn't seem fair, but it is reality. And then the highest level, according to Myron here, and I agree, is imagination. And I love this because, look, a lot of you, if you're an entrepreneur and you have a small company, most of you probably have a good imagination, or you did when you started your business. Sometimes it gets away from us. Sometimes we forget to stop dreaming, or we forget to start dreaming again. And we stop doing it because we get caught up in the day-to-day. We get sucked into the mechanics and the drudgery and the grind of our business, and we forget to think about what's possible. What kind of business do you want? What should it look like? Like, do you want to take 3 months off every year? You can, but we have to fantasize and visualize that if we're going to build or reverse engineer a plan to get it, right? It has to start in the imagination. And the biggest imaginers, the people with the biggest imaginations, here, that works, are the people with the highest net worths in the world a lot of times. You take people like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs. These people have like these big problems that they try to solve. Like they can see how the world could not be dependent on fossil fuels, right? Or they can see how they could disrupt the entire tech industry, change the rules, design, take not a computer and not just make it on CPU speed, but make it on aesthetics and design and a minimalist, look to it or whatever, like with Apple. The idea is that when you're at the highest level of wealth creation, it's imagination, and there's two resources available to you there. So just to recap, implementers only have their muscles, right? Unifiers just have their like management skills or whatever. Communicators go from heart to heart and make people feel something, right? But their resource is their mouth. It's essentially your mouth. And then with imaginationers, they have two resources. They have their mind and they have money. Right? And even in Robert Kiyosaki's book, I forget, the cash flow quadrant, I think it's called. There's like, the employee level, then there's the self-employed level, then there's the business owner level, then there's the investor level. And as you move through these different tiers, right, starting from employee, where you're a slave to someone else and you trade dollars for hours, and you go to self-employed, where you still trade dollars for hours, but you're probably making more. And you're not a slave to someone else, you become a slave to yourself, slave to your own business, which is still preferable from the E part of the quadrant. And then you become a business owner and you make even more money and it requires less of your time. You can go on vacation for 3 months. But the highest level is the I quadrant, which is the investor level. And it's where you start making money with your brain and with the money that you already have. And I don't care if you clean carpets or mow lawns, you can get to that level. Like this business you have, even if it's a training wheels business, even if it's not going perfect, you can pivot, fix, and rearrange and structure your company to set you up to move to that I, like according to Robert Kiyosaki, like that I level, right? Or according to Myron Golden, to the imagination level. If you can get to a place where your brain, your thinking, your imagination, your ideas make you money, you're going to have unlimited resources essentially, right? But here's the thing, and he had two quotes that I thought were mind-boggling as I'll wrap this podcast today. One thing he said that was just mic drop. This is what he said. Sometimes people will be physically diligent to maintain a state of mental laziness. What? That is so good. Holy crap. I'm going to say it again. Sometimes people will be physically diligent to maintain a state of mental laziness. Is that you right now? Are you in a little rut? Huh? Are you maintaining a little mental laziness? Because you don't want to work your brain, you don't want to learn a new skill, you don't want to join a course or get deeper knowledge or be a better leader or be a better manager or understand financials and metrics better. Like, are you avoiding the pain of challenging your brain? If you are, you're going to have to pay for it with your muscles. And what you're doing is you're trapping yourself in the lowest level of earning money, which is the implementation stage. If you're doing all the work yourself and you get all mad because people say they make all these money and have all these big businesses, well, that's fine, but you're doing it to your own self. You're maintaining a state of mental laziness. But what's really weird is that it requires you to be physically diligent so that you can maintain that. You're going to have to work your butt off to stay exactly where you are and have a ceiling over your head. Isn't it worth a little bit of, pain and suffering and learning and growth and expansion so that you could grow your mind so you can move through these levels? I mean, to me it is. To me it's, of course, but I just don't think people know. They don't see it like that. So hopefully that helps. And there's another quote. Okay, he says, people, they won't work hard on learning a new thing, but they'll work hard on doing something that's already not working. Is that you? I hope it's not. I hope it's not. And if it is, maybe this will help you snap out of it. Don't work hard on something that's already not working. Like if you're broke, okay, don't just keep going harder. Don't just work Saturday now or add Sunday to your schedule doing the same broken, messed up, fear-based thing that's not getting you there. We need to push pause on that and look inside of our head, our brain, the way that we think. It's super, super important. This is like someone could pay $2,000 and go to a day seminar to learn this concept from Myron. And maybe they do. I don't know. I can't wait to meet Myron. He seems incredible. Major shout out to Myron. Go check him out on Facebook. Myron Golden is his name. And that's it, guys. I wanted to share that gold nugget. See, I'm already learning gold nuggets from my Inner Circle membership, right? I paid $25,000 for it. I'm going to transfer that, boom, right into your brain for free. Hey, thanks for hanging out, friends. And from all of us here at the Quick Talk Podcast team, we hope you loved today's show. We hope that you were inspired to become a doer and not just a listener. Apply what you've heard today in your own business and watch things change for the better. Lastly, remember that all the money in the world can't save your soul. Seek first the kingdom of God, my friends. We'll see you next time.
For more information about the Quick Talk Podcast or Joshua's other businesses, visit our website, quicktalkpodcast.com. Have a blessed day.